add a little bit more awareness about the brain injury is that when Will had his brain injury, he was in a very critical condition. Hey, Heaven Maven, thanks for joining. Will was in a very critical condition when he had his brain injury. And I mean, like, he was completely unresponsive. It seemed like he was not even present. And I would do tons and tons of research. And that's when I decided that I felt like he was in a waking coma. He would just cry, and he was having tons of seizures. He wasn't able to eat by mouth anymore, so he had to have a G-tube placed in. And that caused a lot of stomach upset. However, I don't even know if it was the G-tube because there is a gut-brain connection. So William's brain injury was an anoxic brain injury, which means it was a lack of oxygen to the brain. And that kind of looks like a near drowning, okay, when they have that lack of oxygen to the brain. Will's was not a near drowning, but it presented the same way. That's called a global diffused brain injury, which means it hits the entire brain. So it's different than a traumatic brain injury in that it affects the whole brain. Where a traumatic brain injury, like if you're in a car wreck and you get hit in the head, it's one specific part of the brain. So as traumatic as that is, the brain has a better ability to recover when dealing with a traumatic brain injury because the brain can rewire around that injury and the neural pathways can be formed. So when you're dealing with a diffused global brain injury, like what my son had, it's much harder for the brain to rewire. So to make a long story short, it completely affects the motor skills. And honestly, that's probably what it affected even more for Will was the motor skills. So Will now presents like somebody that has cerebral palsy. But the difference is cerebral palsy is actually a brain injury, but it happens at birth. So William was a typically developing little boy. And actually for a twin, he was actually quite remarkable because William was, at 11 months, he was already starting to cruise around. So, I intuitively knew as soon as he was on life support and in the hospital that when they told me there was cell death and there was nothing we could do, yes, I am into theta sounds. I'm into all holistic healing modalities. That's a great question. I instantly knew when they told me about the cell death that we just needed to replace the cells. And I knew to do stem cells. And this was how long ago? 7 years ago now? So I started researching stem cells and I found a place in Germany that used your own stem cells because I know that's the first question. They took stem cells from Will's bone marrow from his hip bone and then they did a lumbar puncture to put them back in. They do a lumbar puncture because it will hit the central nervous system. The thing about stem cells is that they naturally migrate to those most damaged areas of your body. So, like Des was just saying, did it affect him motorly? And it does. William has very high tone, which means there's little tears in his muscles. So a lot of the stem cells went there to repair. But the story that I'm going to share, the miracle part of the story is that his seizures stopped instantly. Remember I told you he was having 30 to 50 seizures an hour, little spikes. So that's remarkable. And I knew it when we got back. I talked the neurologist into doing a 24-hour EEG, and I'm about to use my stem cells to reverse the kidney disease this spring. Where are you going for that? So the kind that they were doing for William, they will not do in the United States at this time. So that's to the next part of the story. But anyway, so his seizures stopped instantly. Yes, he gets 4 hours of physical therapy a week, Des, and 4 hours of OT as well, actually. Not in the way William needs his stem cells. It absolutely is true. Believe me, I've done my research. The way Will needs them. They'll do cord blood stem cells with your own cord blood. They won't even do a donor in the United States. So, and I don't have William's cord blood. Isn't the Stem Cell Institute, aren't they doing it in Panama though? Don't you have to, they're sending you out of the country to do it though, but it's American doctors. but I will tweet me that afterwards because there could be something new that I don't know about. So I'd appreciate it if you tweet me afterwards. So William's seizures stopped. The neurologist confirmed it. We weaned him off all of his seizure meds because it was so important to me to have him off meds because I wanted to know what his baseline was. He was on so many meds that I didn't even know who Will was, what was the baseline. So it was important to me to get him off meds, which I did once I knew he wasn't having seizures. So, but are they doing it for cerebral palsy? Because from what I understand, it's only UCLA and Duke doing on a trial basis with cord blood for brain injuries. So, but again, tweet it to me because maybe there's something new that I don't know about, especially the direct brain injections. I don't know that they're doing that in the United States. So after that, the neurologist actually called me at home and he wanted to explain something to me about the brain. Every time you have a seizure, it's recorded in the brain like an earthquake's recorded on the earth in a fault line. So it's the same in our brain. All the seizures leave little marks in the brain like a fault line. After Will's stem cell, the little marks in the brain that he even ever had seizures was gone. So now there's not even evidence that he ever had seizures. So that was one of the remarkable things that happened because that's something we can really like show proof of, because the other things we noticed was him being more aware, starting to get his vision back. Another thing with brain injuries that is wow, Des. It's amazing. And isn't that so cool that his name is Wow? I mean, I had no idea when I named Will that his name was, because his name's William Owen Weigel. And then that's where the business name came from, because William has the will to wow us all. So just very serendipitous. But then the other things, because to answer that lady's question, there is a doctor doing stem cells in Las Vegas, but he's doing it through the blood or intracranially. And we went to him, Dr. Dan Royal is his name. We actually went to him 8 times and they took the stem cells from Will's blood. And those 8 times we didn't see anything. So I don't know. The place in Germany is no longer in Germany. They're in, I want to say Kuwait, but I don't know if that's right. So I've been looking in Panama as well, but that is where some of the profits go from the Will to Wow. So thank you for just joining. You'll have to join the replay because I just told my story on that. But what I want to say, which is what's so interesting, is that what caused Will's accident, the brain injury, and the stem cells, that could easily fix it. So I think there needs to be more talk about that. And I think people need to know that the stem cells aren't coming from embryos or for anybody else. Ooh, analyticalstemcell.com. I should write that down. Analyticalstemcell.com. I don't have a pen, so I hope you remember to tweet me that afterwards. It's at Laura Weigel. And tell me where they're getting the stem cells from. In Honduras. Okay, yeah, that's not in the United States. In Honduras. Okay, Dr. CB in Honduras. So, Des, if you're still on there, if you want to email me or tweet me that, it's at Laura Weigel, or my email is Laura, and I don't have a pen to write it down for you. I know, but in the clinics in the United States, to do it the way they want to do it, lumbar punctures, from my understanding, you have to go to Honduras. Like, we'd have to go out of the country for them to implant them, especially for children. I believe it's 18 and under. So, but I will definitely check it out because I would love to see that things have changed for that. So anyway, in California too, which is so close to me. I'm in Las Vegas, so that would be driving distance. So hopefully that would be amazing. Thank you for sharing that information. Thank you so much. So normally I scope about crystals and crystal healing and different alternative healing, but since it's Brain Injury Awareness Month, and since that is what inspired my whole crystal healing business, because I used to teach special ed. Oh, you did? You lived in Las Vegas for 2 years? Cool. Where did you live at in Vegas? Yeah, I used to teach special education for 10 years in Las Vegas, and then I left education when I was going through the in vitros to get the twins, and then I almost was going to come back to teaching and got pregnant. Oh, okay, Tropicana Flamingo. And then I got pregnant naturally with Jackson, And then William had his brain injury actually when I was 5 months pregnant with Jackson. So clearly it got way too busy to go back to teaching. And I found my passion and my love, and everything happens for a reason. And as heartbreaking as Will's brain injury is, it's also, I'm to the point now in the healing process of seeing the miracle of watching somebody heal and the miracle of being able to touch other people's lives. Girl, you are telling me so much awesome information. You're going to have to email me because I'm not going to remember all that. It's Laura@thewilltowow.com. I'm going to turn it around so you can see the will to wow. It's the number 2. And how cute are Katie and Will there. Like I said, this was a day or 2 before Will's accident. That's my sister and I, who my sister has had twins. Crazy. Thank you so much. You can even contact me on my website if you can't remember my email. And oops, there's some pictures of Will after his brain injury. You can see we're working on head control. That's Grandma. She doesn't like that picture there, but you know what? It's cute of Will. Working on him sitting. Oh, and another amazing thing William did last night was, this is Will and I in Germany. This was for the stem cell. Oh, good. I'm glad you're good at remembering things. Because since kids, I'm not. That's right. And Laura Weig on Twitter. Thanks, Des. So you can see here we're trying to get him to activate. You can see how his fingers want to kind of curl around, but he's a happy guy. He has his joy again, and that was like my first goal for him. Because right after the accident, he was so miserable that it was like I didn't even know if he was supposed to live, because it was hard to watch somebody live a life that miserable. So he got his joy back. He's clearly not in a coma or a waking state anymore. He has a lot of personality. And that's Jackson and Will. You can see he's crossing his eyes there. So the eye part with brain injury is normally their eyes are actually okay. It's the vision cortex of the brain. So it's called cortical vision impairment. It's the brain not interpreting what they're seeing. Wow, I need to take the time to get on my website and look at all this stuff. You forget about these pictures. And that is William in therapy with Kat. So yeah, this is some of the PT stuff we were talking about. Somebody's holding his head there. He cannot do that with his head yet, but that would be awesome. So you guys are so awesome. Neuroscience on the theta waves. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I do a lot with him with brain training and theta waves. It's awesome. And the crystals and sound healing. There's this really cool pad that I have that converts music into a vibration as well, so that you're listening to the music, but then you're getting it throughout your whole body and a vibration, so it hits every cell of your body. I also do tons with nutrition and supplements. Canada's big on stem cells. Yes, they are. They are. And that's my next goal. So that's where the money goes. That when I sell my jewelry, it's going, oh my gosh, it's a cute picture you guys missed. But you guys, I think there's so much awareness that we need to spread out there, because these kids could be healed, especially the kids with CP. As soon as they're born and we know that they have a brain injury, that they had a lack of oxygen, whether in utero or during birth, we could right then and there, we have their cord blood. There's still fresh live stem cells right there in their cord blood. We could take them out and inject them, and no more cerebral palsy. I mean, how easy to fix that is. And the fact that we're not doing that is, it's very sad to me, because it could change so many kids' lives. So anyway, there's my little scope today on brain injury awareness. So thank you guys for tuning in. And Des, thank you for sharing, because this is a very important topic. Yep. Alkaline food, absolutely. William gets all real food, all alkaline, in through his G-tube. We do all that, blend all of his own food. If I could eat like Will, I'd lose 20 pounds. It'd be awesome. But thank you. I appreciate it, guys. And hopefully I'll scope some more this week on the stem cells and brain injuries. And hey, Julie, thanks for joining. It's nice to see you. You got to catch out the replay. And I can't wait for your email on all that information. All right, guys. Thank you. Be well.